Hi. Before I begin, I just want to talk about a bit of a role engagement. So I'm just going to ask you to do one little thing because I'm just going to take away 20 minutes of your life. Can we all, if we're using any of our phone, can we slide into our pocket and pay our full attention? That will be very much appreciated because when I speak and I see someone with a phone, my heart sinks a little bit. Okay. Hi. So when you listen to this TED Talk, I have deleted my Instagram account. Actually, accounts. I have 3 of them in total. And a week away from now, 21st January 2023, they'll be gone from Instagram database forever. And I can't tell you how hard it's been for me to do it, especially when I forgot my password. So when I try to do it, when I tell Instagram that, hey, I want to get my password back, they send me a link, not to take my password, but just to log in. So the way that it's designed is that it's going to prevent you from getting the password so that you will be stuck in Instagram forever. But then the moment I get my password back after 30 minutes in the middle of the night trying, and I get the password and delete it, when I log out, I still remember this little red dot of notification showing up next to my profile picture. And of course, on my phone, it was this small. But in my mind, it was at least as big as the circle you see right here. So I remember having fantasies about it. What if it was my crush asking me out? What if it was someone that I've been waiting for the response for like a year and a half, a singer I really like, responding to me? What if, and what if? I remember asking myself those questions. So throughout this journey, I've learned many things about how the attention economy and how our psychology works. But most importantly, to me, is the courage to be disliked. So today, I'm willing to walk you all through the journey of understanding where our fear of not being liked enough come from, how I overcame it myself and how you can too, and what the result has been like for me. So where does fear of not being liked enough come from? When we talk about it, I want to talk about emotion. And when we talk about emotion, we have this spectrum. One side is love and another is fear. So let's start with love. So the motivation why I create Instagram was love, but to put it more precisely, crush culture. So a few years ago, I had a crush on a guy, and oh my God, he was using both Facebook and Instagram, right? So I had a choice. I either use Facebook and receive his information for like monthly or every 1 or 2 months, or I switched Instagram completely, and I can refresh his newsfeed and I can see what he posts there every single day. And I'll have more talk to him, maybe he'll like me back, stuff like that. So that's what I did. I created an account, follow him, and Instagram was the most seemingly harmless thing to me at that point, because I just created a thing, right? And I talked to him. A month later, I realized that he actually had a girlfriend, and I feel some level of self-disgust, so I just kind of quit. I just ditched Instagram, and then my life just go on. Until I had crushed another guy. He was a very active Instagram user. He posts like most of his stuff there. And after getting accepted into his private account, invitation, whatever, the level of, I start to have fantasies even more. And this time, I wasn't the passive user anymore. I actively seek out to grab his attention. I post more, I post both posts and stories so that I can see if he's actually viewing them or he's actually hearing them. And I even bear in time his timetable, like the time that he's more active, so my content is more visible to him. And it started out being, cute, fun, he liked my posts, but when he doesn't, I start to feel mad and upset about myself over something I can't even control. So it started out cute, but after a few months, what I ended up was pure exhaustion. But however, the thing that what my past self didn't know was that the like, the share, and the view, they tell you very little about whether that person is worth your time and effort and whether they actually care about you. Because sometimes liking and sharing stuff you can do that to almost everyone. However, it prevents you from actually reaching a deeper level of understanding and bonding over something more meaningful than just liking photos and texting, things like that. At the other end of the spectrum, as I said, we have fear. And when we talk about fear, there are many kinds of fear. But the kind of fear I want to talk about today is the fear of missing out. And I think it's the most relatable thing that we all undergo at some point in our own life. So we're afraid of missing out on that most latest Spotify song, TikTok trend, YouTube video, whatever's that's latest. And I know that it's a long journey to convert that fear of missing out to joy of missing out. To you, if you overcame it at any point in your life, or whether you're going through it right now, I offer you only this. A quote from my favorite author, Haruki Murakami. If you only read the books that everyone else is reading, you will only be able to think of what everyone else is thinking. And this, of course, doesn't apply to only books, but also to the music that you listen to, the content that you watch, because what you consume in the long run will influence who you will be in the future and what you're capable of doing in the future. So with that in mind, I just want to tell you that in life, the point is not about winning every single game, but it's about realizing what game is worth to play. And the truth is, you cannot lose a game you don't play. So I remember there were times that I was too busy playing the Instagram game that I forget people that actually care about me. There are people that are willing to find me when I'm not this version of myself, but they're willing to find me when I'm in the medical center weeping over my breakup or over my third existential crisis episode of the day, over whatever it might be. There are people like that, and I've been misreading them because I was playing the wrong game. I wasn't a wise investor of my own time, energy, and effort. Okay, so that's enough of me rambling. How did I actually do it? So it actually started out with a table. Not a table down there, of course, but the table that you see in Excel. So I created a chart for myself. I have 3 columns. I call it MTA, motivations, temptations, and alternatives. So start with your motivation. What will I gain if I leave Instagram? So for here, you just try to say to yourself, oh, maybe then I won't have excuse for myself anymore for not working out or having meditation. And, or maybe I can have more time for my friends and my family. And a tip here is to add as many people as you know that have overcome their Instagram addiction there, so that you can feel like you're actually on their team and you're working toward being a better version of yourself just as they did. And for the second column, this is your place to be very vulnerable because you're being true and sincere toward yourself. So what I want to try to say here is, you have to think of the person that is the first person that prompted you to use the app, why you always think of that person and write it down. So maybe you will really miss stalking that person, for example, because they're like your bedtime ritual in the past, but just write that down. You're gonna miss the moment that you spend with your friends and how you both recollect it on Instagram. And you're gonna miss the time when people actually praised you for the hobbies and the thing that you share to the app. And after you write all that thing, you sift through them. And if you need them, keep it, but if you don't, cross it out. And you move on to the third column, or alternatives. So for this column, you're basically gonna look for alternatives instead of the thing that you've been doing. So for example, I can actually use my blog instead, or Google Photos, or Rocket, or other things like that. And when you get this table complete and you've mastered it, save it, copy it to your devices, your phone, your whatever that you have, or even better still, print it out. So that whenever your temptations comes up, you can just slide your hand into your pocket, pull it out like this, and before you open your little Bible, you have to admit to yourself what you're feeling. So say, yes, I really want to check Instagram right now. I really want to know what's going on. However, as you open it and you look into the first and the third column, and you promise yourself that you're going to do whatever's in it, however small it is. So say, I promise myself I'm going to drink water, I'm going to do my homework, I'm going to journal, color, water my plant, stuff like that. And then when you fold it, you do it without fail. So that's how you slowly build a habit of having something to replace the thing that you used to have in the past, and in that case, Instagram. So what has this result been like for me? So for me, there's been a lot of things, but most noticeably, there's been 3 things. My definitions about a lot of things change. I gained more self-respect, and I was able to do a lot of things with a deeper level of focus. So first, my definition of a lot of things changed. So how many of you know the song, If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hand? Wait. So I'm going to say it, and when it gets to the clap your hand part, can you all clap your hand? Okay, let's do it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hand. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hand. Thank you for everyone engagement, you're all amazing. So, have you know that when you're happy, you clap your hand, right? But the clapping your hand part is, of course, optional. You don't have to do it all the time. But the you know it part, it's not. And I feel like we're forgetting it. We're forgetting the wisdom that was in the nursery song that we listen to like every day in kindergarten school, right? So if you're happy, you should know it. And you should be the first one to know it. If you do something you're happy and you know it, then do it, keep doing it. It doesn't work like you have some self-insecurity and you take your photos and then you post it online and people are like, you should be happy and then you think you're happy? No, it doesn't work like that. Whenever that trigger to check the app or to seek out for self-validation, listen to that song. If you're happy, you should be the first one to know it. And you control who can know about your happiness, right? Because sometimes the only person who needs to know is you, and only the people that are close to you. Because we live in a society that is highly intrusive, and whether we give something away or whether we don't, something will be taken away. Take Joe Alwyn's word for it, right? Yeah, so that was the thing about happiness. The second thing is about people. So there is a distinct difference between having a social life and having lasting relationships. There's a distinct difference between people who like your post, who say that, oh, I love you, but when you're tired and you need a hug, they won't show up there or they won't view your message. We need people who stay with us when we're at our worst, when I was at the medical center down there. We need people like that because we're not always at our best, but sometimes it feels like we have invested our energy to the wrong people. And that's not entirely our fault. I know it takes reflection, but it's good practice to see who we're spending our time for. Okay, when you've done the 2 things consistently, you reach the second state of getting more self-respect. So I've realized that I can't force everyone to respect me because that would be a big dictatorship like Hitler, you know? So, however, I can respect myself first and I can walk away from the things that are not worthy of my time, attention, and effort, and then people will start liking me for what I'm worth and for who I am, and oh my God, that's actually amazing. And to the third part, concentration. I don't know who said this, but I think that in this modern day and age, attention is harder to be paid than money. So Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work, he used to say that we're living in an era of misinformation. We're living in an era of fragmented attention because we're so busy checking our phone, checking our email, checking our message, checking out, things like that. So that we don't have enough the type of attention that is necessary to create truly meaningful work. For example, to write a book, to learn how to play an instrument, to learn how to play a guitar or piano or things like that, to bond with our kids, our children, or to really learn about who we are. Because sometimes we seem alien to even ourselves. Okay, so I know that I've been using Instagram as a handy tool for this topic of learning encouragement is like. However, I hope that you do understand that there are many ways that you can do to restore your self-respect. And it doesn't always have to be Instagram, right? It can be something like working on your porn addiction, working on your attempt to not hit the snooze button in the morning. Just try to work on those things. And if you believe that you can use Instagram with enough maturity and it benefit you, then I don't judge you. However, I do believe and I do hope that after this talk, we take some time to reflect on the way that we've been using social media and the app in general, so that we can be the one who benefit from it instead of the business that are set to grab our attention in this economy. So nobody can make you feel better about yourself but you. Thank you for listening.